Hello again there, friends and fans. Raptor here, and it is coming. Yes, indeed, the sequel to The Forest, known only as Sons of the Forest, the really highly anticipated survival horror game, that is, where, of course, you'll be able to build your own base, your fortress of solitude out somewhere in the forest, as the name implies, and, of course, surviving the elements, but much, much more. You guys really want to see a trailer breakdown for me, and I've seen it active on the Discord before, that a lot of people are getting excited about the sequel and going back to playing the original game, because of how advanced this game really looks. It almost appears to have the budget of like a Resident Evil game, but of course with the gameplay that we fell in love with in the mid-2010s with The Forest. Everything from digging and exploring and trying to put the pieces together will break down here after we see the trailer in full. And I just wanted to say that I'm really excited for this game, as I have played a little bit of The Forest, but I really wanted to see what the sequel had to offer around the same time. So I'll be doing a full playthrough of The Forest very soon, as well as taking a look at what's new with the sequel, and I'm very, very, very impressed with the building aspects of the game. One of the things that I love most from other survival games, such as 7 Days to Die, or, well, whatever other building games, whatever base building games there are, this one seems to really take the cake in terms of how things look and feel when it comes to base building, but also the creatures that you'll encounter in Sons of the Forest. Of course, coming 2021, more than likely going to be on every console, and of course PC, with possibility to have modding taking place as well. We'll go through some of the story trailers that are being hinted at here, which were present at the Game Awards, and more recently being released just after that, just before holiday 2020. Of course, we'll have to learn a lot more as we go in. There's a lot of things unknown, but a lot of things that we do know as well. So I'm about to get in there and show you what it is. I'll go ahead and show you the full trailer here in just a moment. But of course, I wanted to encourage you to subscribe and like the channel to see more news on Sons of the Forest and anything else coming up very shortly. And I'll be doing my first full playthrough of The Forest sometime soon to celebrate the release of the sequel here on the channel. I'm really excited, and I hope you are too. And of course, if you know anything else, make sure you share it down below in the comment section. We're bound to miss something, and I'm sure you know something I don't. So make sure you share that in the comment section after you subscribe and turn on the notification bell. I am very excited. So without further ado, let's get into that trailer. We'll see both the older trailer and one of the more recent ones, and then we'll break things down and see what we see in some of these trailers in greater detail, such as who's who, what weapons do they have, what time period could this be, and of course, what lies in store for us in The Forest. Here we go, and enjoy the trailers. So first and foremost, there's some sort of impact with the helicopter as it crashes down on the island, and once it does, then it seems like the maybe perhaps the only survivor is on the hunt for survival, as they then grab the GPS unit or some sort of tracking unit in order to find their way to an unknown location. It does say it's a couple of 100 meters away, so is it GPS? Is it a tracker? Are we following somebody? Who knows? But there is something that there is a point that we need to reach. Soon after that, we actually see trees being cut down for the first time, which looks incredible. There's voxel art coming out of that tree, and it looks really convincing. And with games like Teardown earlier this year, it really looks impressive when it comes to cutting down trees and moving logs somewhere to use it as fuel or to build a cabin for yourself. Really incredible to see the detail and all the stuff flying off of it. Very underrated, I think. And then, of course, we see snow on the building and also on the log as we walk around. And it also looks like you can make pathways in the snow as you move around. Very, very cool. But it looks like there's a few other footprints or footsteps around there that we'll have to be kind of aware of. Many other locations then. So we see snow. And we see, also, if you look very closely, fish jumping out of the river as well. So that's pretty amazing that you can see that. And, of course, the cannibals are back, and they look really good. Very, very good. They got that, of course, a newer skin and, of course, more detail. And they look very intimidating. So you'll have to, of course, shoot them. And it looks like they actually react to where you might be shooting them. So the arm, the leg, looks like they might react to those types of bullets, which is pretty amazing. Now, of course, oh, yeah, look at that. Close it in for the kill there. And what do we have? One more shot? Not quite. But we have ourselves this shovel, which will be used for building or for finding other objects underneath the ground. And we did see that actually in the helicopter for a brief moment in the cutscene. You actually do see one of the spades on the side of the helicopter. So it could be something that we grab on the way out of the helicopter. And then, of course, on our way to discover what seems to be a bunker. Looks like a large iron door in the forest, some sort of maybe perhaps World War II bunker or a research bunker. Not quite able to get in there through here, but we do see scenes later that could be inside the bunker as well, where people may have lived or seek shelter from something, or we're doing experiments, and it looks like it might be rather modern inside. This could be inside the bunker, could be a modern home. I would bet that it probably is inside the bunker, but it is really difficult to tell at this moment. But it is really cool to see all the detail inside a modern building. So it's not like it's just an abandoned forest or whatnot outside. Maybe it's a point that we were looking for earlier with the GPS tracker earlier in the cutscenes. Of course, this is the mask able to hide us from the cannibals. And there's a little bit of our cutting right there. I love that. Beautiful. So putting down, of course, the little pieces of wood in order to cut it, possibly for firewood. But also I love how the windows are made by just cutting out the logs and then pushing them outside. Very incredible. The process of changing or building cutting trees is really cool. And of course the axe can be used as a weapon, so not only can it be used to be a handy tool to create defenses around your cabin with walls and traps, but of course you can also use it as a quite a handy device to take down enemies such as the one we saw there. Now we see the mask being used as a kind of a deterrent against the cannibals. They seem to believe that that's us, I guess, or something. And of course some really fun creatures along the way. Somebody wants to give us a hug. Really cool to see a taser and possible stun guns and other weapons, perhaps pepper spray and whatnot. And of course we did see a shotgun earlier as well, which was present in the first trailer too. So pretty amazing to see. Now we see not only the cannibals but mutants in the trailer too. So what we were shooting at with the taser in the trailer was definitely some sort of a mutant, which almost looks like a walking rib cage. And that almost looks more intimidating to me than the actual, I would say the cannibals are scary, but the mutants themselves are quite interesting. And there's many different looking locations in this game as well, not just a giant forest. But again, we saw snow, so perhaps there could be snow-covered mountaintops. And we also saw lakes and rivers, which means that there could be different areas to settle in and different types of flora and fauna that we could take advantage of, depending on how large they made it. And it looks like, of course, there's going to be a large variety of weapons, such as, of course, the shotgun that we saw. There's MREs at the bottom of the helicopter in some of the earlier trailers, so there could be all things such as people to help us along our way, like, for example, Virginia, who is able to feel emotions and such of the creatures or of the bandits. We've seen, of course, the modern crossbow in that other cutscene as well. And this is the earlier cutscene as we see the helicopter then taking a hit and coming down. Really excited to see exactly how they bring the story around for this one, as it'll be, I think, much more interactive with cutscenes and characters and voice acting. And of course, it really looks like it's going to be hopefully a very stellar survival game that not only forces you to survive off the land by building a shelter, but also to explore and unlock the mysteries of what may have happened here in greater detail. Things like flashlights and crossbows, crowbars, shovels, shotguns, maybe perhaps assault rifles and submachine guns that we could see. And of course, really looking realistic and making it look real scary too. I'm really hoping that this one is just as good as the first one, just based off the fact that you're trying to survive and that they put in a lot of great, smooth-looking details. If that tree from earlier was any indication, and if, of course, you're building a house and it's going to be quite satisfying, you're going to have to defend that, and it'll feel more of your own than anything else. And this is getting nasty. Some of these creatures here looking really wild. I don't know exactly what to make of these at the moment, but of course cannibals will attack your buildings, so creatures like this could come in and attack your homestead, or take logs, as we saw earlier, where cannibals will actually kind of, it seems, possibly steal from you. Perhaps the cannibals will come into your camp and actually take your belongings and whatnot. And of course, this very strange-looking yoga professional, let's say. Perhaps she's maybe more of a mutant than she is a cannibal, but perhaps there's more creatures that await us, too. I'm hoping to see things like bears. If there are fish in the game that can jump through ponds and up into rivers to go spawn, perhaps we'll see deer and bear and other things that we have to survive from then just maybe doing farming, or perhaps gathering fruits and berries, which would be quite interesting. Now, towards the end here, I'm going to try to show the trailer, the newer trailer, one last time, so that way you can see exactly what awaits us in 2021. And again, it is very exciting to see both handmade weapons and also possibly salvaged weapons. Of course, things made with steel and carbon fiber from the helicopter crashes and perhaps other military operations here, rescue operations, and then, of course, things made from sticks and stones and crossbows and other more primitive weapons, though just as effective as a modern axe, so long as it has a kill. So there are other characters here. They could be killed off rather soon. Perhaps there's other characters that we have to meet with, NPCs. But one of the biggest things that I saw, one of the most promising things, was that composite bow, which really looked quite stellar, I must say. And it's going to be quite interesting to see if we get to team up with other characters and how the story unfolds. These trailers are just a little glimpse of what lies in store for us. I tried to do a little bit more research on this one with the time that I had, and all I can say is that I'm more excited than the first trailer as this game comes closer and closer to being completed and released sometime next year. Now, again, we have to see, is this game going to be on PC, Xbox, and PlayStation? Of course, I believe it will. Multiplayer, a few other things unconfirmed at the moment that I'll go into greater detail in the comments section that we just don't have time for today, such as the launch date or price. But that is what makes it Sons of the Forest. I'll go ahead and leave you guys with the final trailer recap one more time, and I'll see you next time.